Narrator. Voiceover. Well, guys, it's one of those days. I wish I didn't have to make this video. One of those very, very sad videos that hits harder than we ever expect. Today, we say goodbye to a legend. A man whose presence on screen and behind the microphone has left an indelible mark on cinema and gaming. We're talking about none other than Tony Todd. Cut to montage of Tony Todd's iconic roles, from Candyman to The Crow and more recent roles. Narrator. Voiceover. For many of us, Tony Todd was more than just an actor. He was a presence. From Candyman that gave us chills with every whisper of, "Be my victim," to The Crow, where he brought a depth of emotion to his role that still resonates with fans today. And, of course, let's not forget his most recent portrayal as Venom in Insomniac's latest video game, a role that many of us were thrilled to experience. Clip of Tony Todd's voice as Venom or zoom in the flash. Narrator. Voiceover. But Tony was more than just the characters he played. He was a voice that could cut through the noise, instantly recognizable and always powerful. Whether it was Scareglow in Masters of the Universe, Revelations, Zoom in the Flash, or the numerous roles he voiced in animated series and games like Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, his performances were unforgettable. Cut to images of Tony Todd in Final Destination, Star Trek Online, and The Man from Earth. Narrator. Voiceover. His body of work spanned decades and genres, from horror classics like Final Destination, to the philosophical The Man from Earth, and even Star Trek Online, where fans like me cherished every line. Tony Todd was not just an actor, he was a legend, a horror icon whose contributions to the industry cannot be overstated. Fade to a black screen with text. Tony Todd. 1954-2023. Narrator. Voiceover. Sadly, we received the heartbreaking news that Tony Todd passed away on November 6 at the age of 69. It's hard to find the words to express what a loss this is for the entertainment world, and for all of us who admired his talent. Pause for a moment of silence, music softens. Narrator. Voiceover. To me, the moment I heard his voice, I knew I was in for something special. He had that effect on people. He drew you in, made you listen, and left a lasting impression. Tony Todd will be deeply missed, but his legacy will live on through the countless films, shows, and games that continue to captivate and inspire new generations. Closing scene. Montage ends with a still image of Tony Todd smiling, followed by a quote. Legends never die. They live on through their work and the memories they leave behind. Narrator. Voiceover. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. Thank you for everything you gave us. You may be gone, but your voice, your talent, and your legacy will echo forever. End with a fade out and text. In memory of Tony Todd. This script aims to strike a respectful tone and focus on Tony Todd's incredible contributions to the world of film and voice acting. Feel free to modify or personalize it as needed. 40 You said. Rewrite Tony Todd script. Well guys, I am sadly here with one of those videos, one of those very, very sad videos, because I know a lot of people were fans of the actor in question. We are of course talking about Tony Todd, the legendary Tony Todd from Candyman to The Crow to what many of you will know him as if you played the recent Insomnia game Venom. So let's talk about it. Music. So this news just hit us today, and of course I think a lot of people will also remember Tony Todd from other projects. Before I get to more about his passing, obviously he appeared in The Flash, for example, as Zoom. You know, he was in the recent Masters of the Universe Revelations as Scareglow, and he did a great job. He of course has both. Goddamn, I can't even talk. He's voiced so many iconic things. You just like his voice, right? Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, like, you know, that was him. You go back to I mean God, we could sit here all day talking about things he's voiced and things he's been in. I remember him in Star Trek Online, which is a video game I absolutely loved when it came out. You know, he was in Revenge of the Fallen, Final Destination, The Man from Earth. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. And Tony Todd is a legend. He's a horror icon. He unfortunately ended up passing away November 6 at the age of 69. The rap I believe was the ones that were able to get the first news on it, and you know, that's sadly it. I don't really know what to say Tony Todd is just one of those actors that to me the moment I would hear his voice I was like yep I'm going to check that out automatically, just loved everything he did, and we're now at that point where many of these celebrities that we grew up on are maybe even like double our age, and sadly this is what's happening. So man, I know people are to ask this, I'm not going to talk about in a separate video. I don't know how they're going to deal with this when it comes to the Venom video game, and I think that's the least of the things we should be talking about or worried about or speculating about. That's all I'm going to. ChatGPT said. ChatGPT, here's a revised and polished version of your script for Tony Todd, with a respectful tone and improved flow. Opening scene. Gentle background music fades in. Narrator. Hey, everyone. I wish I didn't have to make this video, but it's one of those very sad ones today. We lost a legend. A man whose work has been loved by so many fans over the years. We're talking about Tony Todd, the incredible Tony Todd. From Candyman to The Crow, to what many of you might recognize him as recently. Venom in the latest Insomniac game. Brief pause. Show a few clips of Tony Todd's work. Narrator. This news hit us today, and it's hard to take in. Many of you will also remember Tony Todd from his other iconic roles. He appeared in The Flash's Zoom, where his voice sent chills down our spines. He was the voice of Scareglow in Masters of the Universe, Revelations, and, of course, he nailed it. It's tough to even begin listing all the characters he brought to life because his voice was simply unforgettable. Clips of his voice work in animated series and games. Narrator. He's voiced so many iconic characters. You hear his voice, and you immediately know it's him. From Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, to Star Trek Online, a game one personally loved, Tony Todd's performances were always a highlight. He was in Revenge of the Fallen, Final Destination, The Man from Earth. I could go on and on. The list of his contributions just keeps growing, and that's because Tony Todd was a legend. He was a horror icon and so much more. Fade to black screen with text. Tony Todd, 1954-2023. Narrator. Sadly, we learned that Tony Todd passed away on November 6 at the age of 69. The news was first reported by The Wrap. It's a huge loss, and honestly, it's hard to find the right words. Tony was one of those actors who, the moment you heard his voice, you knew you had to watch. Everything he did was filled with so much passion and talent. Moment of silence, music softens. Narrator. We're reaching a time where many of the celebrities we grew up with are leaving us, and it's heartbreaking. Tony Todd gave us so much throughout his career, and it's sad to say goodbye. I know people will have questions about what this means for future projects like the Venom game, but honestly, that's the least of our concerns right now. Let's remember and celebrate his incredible work instead. Closing scene. Montage of Tony Todd's best moments, ending with a still image of him smiling. Narrator. Tony Todd, thank you for everything you gave us. You were a legend, and your legacy will live on forever. Rest in peace. This version maintains the heartfelt tribute while smoothing out the flow and structure. It aims to honor Tony Todd's legacy and acknowledges the impact he had on fans and the entertainment industry. 40 AIPRM ChatGPT prompts, favorites, AIPRM, public, own, hidden, ad list.